So earlier this month, I celebrated going half of my lifetime without drinking soda. Soda was one of the first changes I made to my lifestyle. I started to read food labels not long after that. And I just wanted to make another video to talk about some pivotal moments that made me rethink about my lifestyle. A year before I had stopped drinking soda, I stopped when I was 16 years old. When I was 15, my family and I had taken a road trip to, we were in Pittsburgh. My cousin was going to school in Toronto, and I had drank so much soda that it really annoyed my mother because in Canada, soda is not very cheap. I remember it was about $3.99 for a 2 liter bottle, and I can't remember if the Canadian dollar was much lower than the U.S. Well, I guess I could look it up, but it was at least $3 U.S. And that's comparatively expensive compared to in the U.S. You know, we take for granted we can go to a Burger King and refill our soda 20 times. I don't think they let you refill your soda in Canada in a Burger King. We take for granted that soda is kind of cheaper than water in many cases here in the U.S. But in Canada, it was relatively expensive. And it's not like it was going to break the bank for our family, but at the same time, my mom was kind of expecting me to enjoy new things when we go to Canada, not to spend 3 times as much for something that I take for granted here in the United States. And so my mom got very upset, and it caused a little bit of a rift. You know, we're trying to go on vacation. We're not trying to argue about our drinking habits. And it just put a little friction between me and my soda, which is great. At the time, I probably thought it was really annoying, but it really forced me to think about it. I was just reading on my Facebook this morning about a warning about a certain peanut butter we shouldn't give to our dogs because it contains xylitol, which can cause some stomach problems with dogs. I don't own a dog, so I'm not sure what kind of problems it. But it just goes to show how many things people put in their mouths without even realizing what they're putting into their mouths. People eat without knowing what they're eating, when they're eating it. They eat very subconsciously. They don't know how food is disappearing. They take some food in front of the TV, in front of the computer, or when they're with friends, you know, and the food just disappears. They don't even know how it disappeared. I wish I had more friction between me and my food today. So often, I don't even get to see the food. It's not until I go pay my credit card bill that I realize, oh my god, did I really spend this much money on food? What was it? And where did it go? You know, how you know? I look in the mirror, or I go to the doctor for my checkup, and I weigh a lot more than I did last year, and I don't even remember half of the pounds that I swallowed. Or I look at my credit card bill, and I look at all these grocery receipts. I don't remember half of those trips to the grocery store. I wish there was a little bit more friction in between me and putting food in my mouth. So that was good. 6 months before I had quit drinking soda, I used to love to go to Burger King because I could refill my soda millions of times when I would go to Burger King. I thought I was getting my money's worth. You know, one time we on our way into we went to Vancouver, BC one time, but we flew into Seattle first before renting a car and making the drive for the rest of the way. And we got to Seattle, and I went to a fast food restaurant, and I refilled my soda 8 or 9 times, and my mom was very upset, and she said that I brought my Pittsburgh attitude to Seattle. You know, only people from Pittsburgh would refill their soda so many times, and she just felt very embarrassed for. I don't know if it was Pittsburgh specifically, or maybe for the Asian community, that I would do that. And but she said you know, only people from Pittsburgh could do that. She didn't say Asians for some reason. I don't know how anybody would associate us with Pittsburgh. It's not like we were wearing, sports shirts or something like that. Oh, I think she just wanted to point out that, leave your home at home. We're on vacation. I think that's what she meant. But another time, this was back home in Pittsburgh now. Another time, my mom, we were deciding where we were going to go out to eat on a Saturday. And obviously I had suggested Burger King. But my mom wanted to go to Arby's. I used to like Burger King. I know all the other fast food restaurants will let you refill your soda, but Burger King, the soda fountains are outside of the counter. I don't know if this is true anymore. I'm talking about 15, 20 years ago. The soda counters, the soda fountains are outside of the counter, and you don't have to bother anybody to go refill your soda. Let's face it, I wasn't exactly proud of the fact that I refilled my soda 10 times every time I went to Burger King. But I used to like to go to Burger King. My mom wanted to go to Arby's. I'll settle for it. So it was around lunchtime, and I couldn't wait to go to Arby's. We were working on some home improvements at the time, and we couldn't get moving. I kept pestering my mom, my dad. We couldn't get moving. At the time, I had a younger brother. He was 4 years old, and I think he had something he wanted to watch on TV. I can't remember the details. We couldn't get moving, and I hate to admit this, but I had anger problems at the time. And finally, I was such a wreck that I screamed at my parents. I shouted some obscenities. I might have thrown a few things around the house. And finally, my parents grabbed my brother and said, "Let's get out of here." And I think bottom line is they didn't want to take me to the fast food restaurant because of my embarrassing soda habit. I mean, my parents were they cared about their image. Let's put it that way. I wish they would have just told me straight up, you're eating healthy. I'm not taking you to Burger King today. I want you to try something new. And yes, I would have been unhappy about it, but I wouldn't have been lied to. And for a long time, it caused a rift. Because not long after that, I stopped drinking the soda. And for a long time, I was very upset over that incident. I remembered that incident for many years. Every year at Thanksgiving, I would bring it up. And I was upset because I felt like I had missed my one last chance to drink a lot of soda before I really knew all the dangers about sodas. I was very upset. But I came to realize that might have been one thing that helped motivate me to stop drinking soda. A lot of times, I think motivation is what people need. See, recently I've been having a hard time writing one of the computer games for the conference. It's called Abalone. So be it. I have 15 other games that I compete without having to put any effort into it. It's just what I've already written. But I have a hard time getting to it because now I have a girlfriend, I have other hobbies going on, I have career goals, and it just doesn't have a very high priority. If this were life or death, if it's, win the Abalone contest or you die, I guarantee you I could do something about it, right? At the time, the soda, there were so many annoyances, right? Arguing about where to go to eat on Saturday, it was a big vacation buster, right? It caused a lot of rift between my family and I. And I recently traveled to Gdansk Bay 3 years ago, and I was taken aback at how expensive soda is over there, and I'm so glad I don't drink it anymore. Even when I go to Taiwan or Macau, right? I was in Macau last summer. If I remember correctly, a 2-liter bottle of soda was the equivalent of $3-4 US. And I drank a lot of tea when I was in Macau because it was so cheap. The same 2-liter bottle was about the equivalent of 70-80 cents US. And I drank a lot of that stuff. And or when I was in Gdansk, beer was so much cheaper. I was drinking a lot of non-alcoholic beer. So I get to enjoy something new when I travel now. And I get to use that money for something else. And So at the time, the soda caused a lot of rift between my family and I. It caused a rift when we go on vacation. It was obviously making me very overweight. I wanted to meet this girl in the class I was taking, and I wanted to lose some weight before finals. It turns out I really never did anything with that girl. I ended up meeting somebody else. What else is going on? And the soda, I'm so glad I started with soda because it was relatively easy. Around the same time I started drinking other beverages, so it didn't really feel like I was giving up soda. It felt like I was exploring my other beverage choices. I started drinking non-alcoholic beer. What was really funny was that around the same time I was starting to learn how to drive. And one day, without even thinking about it, I was drinking a non-alcoholic beer while driving on the road, and I was joking that I was drinking and driving, and it just became such a funny story, and it just made me never want to turn back to soda again, because other beverage choices are just so fun. Coconut water especially, and it has been half my lifetime now, so I don't know it. When I look at a soda, it doesn't even look like a drink anymore. It's kind of funny.